But we will get started, and this is being recorded. So again, welcome everyone. My name is Eileen. I am a senior implementation specialist here at RedTeam Go, and today we're going to go over financial reporting in RedTeam Go. So today we'll be covering a few different topics. We're going to go over our job cost statement. We'll also go over your accounts payable report, which is your billing report by sub. I'm sorry, your billing report by owner. We'll also go over your accounts receivable report, and we will go over your WIP report, your PO summary report, and your project's budget report. Again, if you have any questions during our webinar, please feel free to use the chat button at the bottom of the menu. Alrighty. Okay, so like I said, we're going to start with our job cost statement. So we'll navigate over to our project. And once inside your project, we'll navigate over to our commitments menu. Within our commitments menu is where you're going to find our job cost statement. Okay, here we go. So here's our job cost statement. We have a lot of information in here. This is where we're going to be able to keep track of our budget, but we're going to be able to really dig deep into our budget and see where this money is going, how much money we've spent, how much money we've been paid, and so on. Alrighty, so here we go. This is our table. As you can see, we've got our cost codes and the description of the cost code. Our first column over here is our budgeted amount. Okay. This is the next column over is our approved changes. These are going to be all approved change orders that will show up here. And then we have our projected total cost. So this is our budgeted amount plus those approved change orders that are showing up here. And I do want to point out anything in RedTeam that you see is blue, that is clickable. That means we can go right into this and we can see what that cost is. Okay. Over here, we have our total committed costs. So this is going to show the costs that we've committed to spending. You can see we have some values here. So this is going to be our subcontract agreements. If I click into this and I'm wondering, what is that $44,000 made of? As I click into it, RedTeam is going to show me. That's made up of a sub change order and then another sub change order over here. Okay, and these are also clickable. So if you want to dig a little bit deeper and see, well, what's that 45,000 for? You can click right into here and RedTeam brings you right to that document. Okay, so we can see that this is from our budget. So that's our total committed cost. Now our balance to commit is showing over here. This is how much money do we have left to spend on this cost code. And then here it's going to show our prior period costs. This column is going to show our current period costs. So this is all the approved costs from the last GC bill date to the current report date. This is going to show any retainage that has been withheld. And then here is our total cost to date. So this is going to show the actual costs that we have. Okay, so our committed costs, as you can see here, this is our subcontract agreement. But over here, this is the actual total cost to date. So if I were to click into this column right here, this is going to show everything that's made up in there. And we can see that I have 2 invoices from my subcontractor. Okay, it's showing the billed amount, how much retainage is being withheld, and the amount that's due here. And same thing, like I mentioned, anything that's blue is clickable. So if you want to actually see this invoice, we're just going to click into that and RedTeam is going to bring us right on over to that invoice. Okay, over here, it's going to show us our balance to finish. So how much do we have left to spend over here? Okay, so this was the commitment amount, 44,000. I've already been billed this 25,500, and here's the rest that I have to finish out this cost. Okay, and I do see a question. Question is, when our PM enters a purchase order for a subcontractor, does it double up the total committed cost? Because when the sub bills for the PO accounting will enter that. Yes, so if you enter a purchase order That's going to show up as costs here on your job cost statement. If you, after you enter the purchase order, then enter an invoice as well, yes, you're going to have that cost for the purchase order, and then you're going to have that cost for the invoice. So as an example, let's say you're entering a purchase order to hold a tile, right? And that PO is $500 for the tile. So you enter your purchase order, $500, that's going to show up, yes, as amount spent. But then once you do enter the invoice, if you enter the invoice in accounting as a one-time invoice, that's also going to show up. So what your accountant will want to do is most likely come into the purchase order once you receive the actual invoice and void that purchase order so that it'll remove it from your job cost statement and it'll only keep track of the invoice amount. Okay. Does that answer your question, Tyler? And if it doesn't, just please let me know. But yes, it will double if you do both. Okay, perfect. Okay. Now up here, this is also keeping track of my billing. So if I billed out to my customer, RedTeam's keeping track of that right here, billed to date. We can click into there and we can see that I do have one pay app out to the customer. Okay. This was the amount minus the retainage that's been withheld. So this is the amount that was due to me. RedTeam's keeping track of all of this up here. And based on how much I've been paid by my owner versus how much I've paid out to my subcontractors, RedTeam's keeping track of that over here as well. So I've basically paid out more to my subs than I have been paid by my owner. Alrighty, now here, just to show you, we can filter. So right now I'm looking from March 20th until April 23rd. If I want to back it up a little bit, maybe I want to see what my numbers looks like back in February. I'll come over here, edit these dates, and apply my filter. Okay, and then that's going to update. So we can see back in February, I haven't billed my customer yet, and I haven't paid out my subcontractors yet. You do have the ability to also print this right over here. So after you run your filtered dates, you can print this for yourself right here. That's going to give you a nice PDF of your job cost statement. If you prefer to work off of an Excel document, you do have the ability to export to an Excel document right over there. Just waiting for that to open up so I can show you all. Okay. There we go. So same thing, but in an Excel format. Ready? Okay, but yep, this is your job cost statement. We'll move on over to our next set of reports unless anyone has any questions about your job cost statement. Okay, alrighty, so we're going to move on over to our accounting menu. So we come over here to accounting. Right over here, we're going to have a list of reports. Okay, so these reports are going to be available to those that have the accounting function checked on their profile. Okay, so from here, we have our owner billing report. Okay, so our accounts receivable. We have our billing report by subs, so our accounts payable. We have our WIP report, our PO summary report, and our project budgets. Okay, so first we'll go over our owner billing report. Right over here, you're going to set your filter. So if I want to see all of my billing for this quarter, for the past quarter, I'll just come over here, enter my dates. Okay. You do have the ability to filter just by a particular project manager if you'd like. I'm going to view all project managers and then select view report. Let's make this a little bit bigger so everyone can see that better. Okay, you know what? Let's download that. So this is my report. Downloaded it. Let's view it bigger. There we go. Okay, so it's showing by my project, the pay app date, the contract amount, and then the billed amount. And then it's also going to show, well, what percentage complete are we for this billing? It's also then going to show my balance and then my retainage balance right over here. Okay. This column over here is showing me if the owner has approved the invoice or not. Because as you know, you can send out your invoice to the owner using RedTeam Go, and they do have the ability to approve the invoices. Okay, so we can see that for some of these, my owners did go through and approve them, but then others, maybe these particular owners weren't comfortable with using RedTeam and they just didn't select the approve. But it doesn't mean they did not actually approve or pay me for these invoices. And then you can see down here, it shows me my total billed for this. Okay. So this is my billing report. And again, you're going to run this inside your accounting menu. Okay. This is my accounts receivable. Now we also have my billing report by sub. Okay, so my payable. Over here, same thing, we can come through here and we can set our filters. So if I want to filter for the quarter, do that right over here. You have the ability to select, do you only want bills that have been accepted, approved, only new bills, or do we want to filter for all? You also have the ability to choose if you only want to filter for certain projects. Okay, I'm going to run this for all of my projects. And we're going to select print. Try running that one more time. Let's just see if it's having an issue running it. We'll select all of our projects. There we go. Okay, here we go. So here are all my subcontractor payments. We'll see over here, it's showing me my original contract amount with that subcontractor. It's listed by project. Okay, so if I just want to look at a particular project, I can scroll on down and view that. So it's showing our original contract amount with that subcontractor, any change orders, and then the revised contract amount based on that change order. Okay, this is going to show right over here my earned to date, the retainage that's been withheld, the previous bill, previous based on these dates. The current amount that is due is going to show up over here. And then we're going to get that percentage complete and then their balance due. And any unbilled change orders are going to show up over here as well. So I can see I do have some unbilled change orders for some of my subcontractors. All right, any questions, anyone? Okay. All righty. Now the next report that we're going to look at is right over here. This is our WIP report. Okay. I have a very large database, so I'm just going to pull up my WIP report over here. Okay. So it will, there we go. It already ran. Sorry about that. Okay, so my WIP report, we're going to run this. So we're going to put in our start date. It's the same thing if I want to look at the quarter. We'll put in our start, our end, okay? And then we're going to tell RedTeam to generate it, okay? So don't forget, you have to select the generate over here. We're going to choose, do we want to generate for all projects, for my active projects, or my inactive projects? I want to just view my active projects, so I'm going to select active. Okay, Then it will take a minute to generate, but this is what we're going to get right over here. Okay, so here's my WIP report. Righty, you can see my job name is here with the job number, status, my project start date for that individual project, and then the end date if we have. It's going to show the location of that project, who the project manager is, okay, the contract amount for that project, any change orders that we have, any retainage that's being withheld, and the total billed to date for that project is right over here. Okay. Over here, we have our total cost to date. So that's going to be the total of the approved expenses, any approved purchase orders, any approved labor, any sub bills or anything like that. That's going to show up over here on our total cost to date. And then we have our total budgeted construction. So that's going to be, sorry about that, the awarded amount plus any internal change orders that you may have added to your budget and sub change orders. Okay, your budgeted amount is going to be different sometimes from your contract value. Okay, and then over here, it's going to show, well, what percentage are we billed for this project? Okay, after you generate this, you do have the ability to export it. That's going to give me that Excel document with all of this information. And you can select this summary report. That's going to give me a PDF of what I'm currently looking at. There you go. So here's that PDF. That's my summary. And then right over here, this is my export. Okay, so same information, but it's just giving it to me here on an Excel document. Okay. Right, but yep, this is your WIP report. I do want to show you again, I'll mention it again, anything that's blue is clickable. So if we're looking at this and you're just wondering about some of these numbers, click right into here. Okay, it's going to bring you right to the project's job cost statement. So now you can actually dig in deep and say, okay, well, what was that total cost to date? And we can see all of those bills. But yeah, any questions from anyone? Just going to open that up real quick before we move on to our next report. All right. Okay, so the next report, we do have our PO summary report. Okay, so I can choose to, go by certain jobs. If I just want to look at individual jobs, I can check that over here and then print my checked POs. Okay, and that's just going to give me a list of the purchase orders, not just purchase orders, but also any subcontract agreements. Okay, so for this project of mine, I've got a couple of subcontract agreements, but I do also have purchase orders in here. Okay. This is your PO summary report. So I chose just for one job, but if you want to, you can select all and then print all of those as well. It's a lot of jobs, so it'll probably take a while to generate. There we go. Okay. Okay. This is your PO summary report. The next report that we have over here in the accounting menu are the project budgets. Okay, same thing. Come over here if you just want to look at certain projects, you can check those and then print them. It's just going to give us our budget. There we go. So it looks just like our budget in RedTeam Go. We're going to have our owner amount, right? So this is what we've presented to our customer. We're going to have our budgeted amount here, okay? And then we're also going to have our change orders over here, okay? And then with our changes and our budgeted, we're going to have our current. value here in that last column. That's your budget report. So this is a good way to print your budget. You guys are about to have a meeting and you want to go over the project's budget, come right over here into accounting, print that budget, and you can have it for your meeting. Now, I know we went through all of the financial reports, but I do have a couple of other reports that I can show you guys if you'd like. If you were to come over into the administration menu and come to reports, so scroll on down. You do have over here, you can run a list of all of your cost codes. You can do company contacts report. I wanted to show you some information over here. So you know how in RedTeam Go, we can keep track of our subcontractors and their certificate of insurance, their general liability, and all of that good stuff. Well, we have this report over here. So as long as you're keeping track of all of that information within your subcontractor's profile in contacts, can come over here and run this insurance and license report. We have it in a few different ways, and I'll show them all to you in a second. I'm just going to let one run so I can show you. Basically going to show you all of your subcontractors, and it'll show you their expiration dates. So you'll know that you can follow up with your subs if you see that their general liability is coming up on expired, or if it is expired, or maybe you don't have it on file. Okay. So here we go. Here's that list. Give us some more space. Okay, so we can see here. Shows the subcontractor and their contact information. Okay, and then their workers' comp expiration date, their general liability expiration date, and if you're also keeping track of their auto insurance expiration. So this is a pretty good report that you guys can run so you can keep track, follow up with your subcontractors and request that information of them. Okay. And you have the same report over here. This is to run it for all subcontractors. This is to run it for only working subcontractors. There you go. It's the same report. It just looks a little different. You can see it doesn't have all of the information as the other one did. Okay. Another report that I can show you in here is your PM profit. Okay. So you can just go, you can search by a project manager. You can choose same thing. If I want to look at last quarter, proceed. Oops, okay. Might be having an issue with this, so I will follow up on this outside of our webinar. So I apologize about that. Oh, there we go. It ran. Just needed a second. There we go. So here's my project manager profit analysis. Okay, so it's showing, give us more space, the job. So these are all of my projects. Here are my original contract amount, my final contract amount. So we can see some of them have changed. My final profit amount. Okay, and then my estimated gross profit percentage, my original budgeted gross profit, and then my final gross profit. Okay, so this is another report that you guys can run over here. And where we are now, we're no longer in the accounting menu. So to get here, I selected my name and I came to administration. Once you're in the administration menu, you'll just select reports. Okay, and this was my PM profit report. Okay. Another report that we have over here, you can run your projects that are currently in bidding. You can run your projects that are all currently in pending. Okay. So it's just going to give you that bid information, who we have as the estimator, what the sub bid due date is, what your bid due date is to the customer, the estimated contract, if you've entered that information just yet, and then if you've entered the probability of the contract, that will show here. Okay. And then you can do the same thing over here with our projects in pending. So this is just looking for all projects that are in bidding. Bidding meaning I have not sent a contract yet to my customer. I have not submitted my proposal just yet. And then here are my projects that are in pending, which are projects that I have pushed to pending. I have submitted my proposal with my bid estimate. Another report that we have over here is your subcontractor activity report. Okay. So you can set your filter dates. You can choose to search by a particular project or project manager. And here we go. It's generated this for me over here in an Excel document. Okay, and here are all those projects. Here are all my subcontractor activity report. Okay, so it's showing the subcontractor, the job that this is in reference to, the job name, the cost code, the description of the cost code, the amount, and then the commitment. So we can see I've created a subcontract agreement over here. It's showing their completion date, the county in which they work, and their state. We can see, yep, there we go. So this is the subcontractor activity report. I use everything subcontractor a lot. Okay. And then the last report, it's what we were looking at up over here, but it's our subcontractor insurance expiration report. Again, it's more information, similar information of what we looked at over here for the insurance report and the insurance and license report. This is just going to only show us the subcontractors for projects that were closed in the last 12 months. There we go. And again, it's more of the same. The only difference is this isn't all of my subcontractors. It's only the subcontractors, as I said, that we've for projects closed in the last 12 months. Okay. You can see it's broken out by project. Alrighty. So that's conclusion really of our webinar. We've gone through all of the different financial reports. I'm going to pause here. Are there any areas that anyone in the webinar would like us to revisit, or any areas that maybe we haven't touched on, but you'd like to take this time to go over? Feel free to use the chat. You can also, again, use that Q&A. Let's see what we have. Okay, if you bill, okay, so Andy, you're saying if we bill our owners through QuickBooks, how does it affect our owner billing report in RedTeam? Okay, so just to clarify, are you saying that you're entering the owner pay app in QuickBooks only? You're not coming into RedTeam and recreating that pay app in RedTeam? Because if that is what you're saying, yes, that's correct. Okay, great. So you're not using RedTeam to create the owner pay app, you're using QuickBooks. Well, great thing is if you have that QuickBooks integration turned on with RedTeam and RedTeam and QuickBooks are speaking to one another, RedTeam's capturing that information for you in the job cost statement. So you're not losing any of that information. You're still capturing it in the job cost statement. So the job cost statement will capture any build to date. So it would be the same thing. You'd come over here, select build to date, and any invoices that you may have entered in QuickBooks, but not RedTeam, will show up here as long as you have that sync. As long as you have RedTeam and QuickBooks speaking to one another, RedTeam will read that invoice here for you. So it does still work. You would just come over here, like I said, select that build to date, click that, and anything from QuickBooks will generate here as well. Good question. You're welcome. Okay. All right. Does anyone else have any other questions? Nope. Okay. Well then, everyone, we're going to end this here. Before we actually end it, let me just point out, if you at any time have any questions, please feel free to always reach out to your CSM. However, the best way to get in touch with someone at Red Team immediately is right over here. You have our little chat button. You'll select that, come over to messages, select send us a message. You will need to go through here. It's like a bot. You're just going to let us know what it is that you're looking for. But once you fill out this information, you will be connected to one of our live team members and our support staff. Okay. Another great resource that I want to point out to everyone is if you select your name and you come to Learning Center, you have two areas. We have our knowledge-based articles and we have our training videos. So I'm just going to show you the knowledge-based articles really quick. So let's say you're wondering, we just went over the job cost statement, right? And you want to dig a little bit deeper, or you have some questions, or you can't remember a topic. Come into the Learning Center, type in job cost statement. And here you go. We already have a couple of articles that showed up. So this one's related to QuickBooks. How does the job cost statement work with QuickBooks? Click right into here. And Red Team gives you this article. It's not just the article, but you're also going to have these screenshots. So it's going to explain it to you, and it's going to give you step-by-step instructions. Right over here. And if you keep going down, any other related articles to that topic are right over here. Okay. Okay. So this was your knowledge-based articles. The other area that we have are the training videos. So if you select again your name and then go to Learning Center and training videos, Red Team will bring you here. So these are all of our training videos that we have. They're all separated by topic. Okay. They range from 3 minutes to 7 minutes. Maybe some might be a little bit longer, 10 minutes, depending on the topic. We have all of our training videos over here. If you're looking at these training videos and you're noticing a gap in knowledge, there's a video that you think would be great if we would create an ad, reach out to us. Let us know. We're more than happy to record a video and add it to our training database for you. Okay. Right over here just to show you course 11, accounting and financials. Alrighty, so we've got videos on the owner and sub-billing reports. We have a video that just dives into the job cost statement. If you're wanting to see what the QuickBooks Online integration looks like, we have this video over here. And then we have as well accounting specific functions in RedTeam Go and accountant administrative defaults here. Alrighty. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, like I said, please feel free to reach out, uh, email your CSM, or we have our chat button right here. I hope you all have a wonderful day and a wonderful rest of your week. Bye, and thank you for joining us, everyone.